Hi, this is Clint Holley from Well-Made Music. Here today, I'm going to talk to you about cartridges. Now, there's a lot of things that can affect the playback experience of a vinyl record, but in my opinion, one of the things that has the biggest impact on your listening experience is the cartridge. Now, a lot of people will call what they put on the record a needle or something like that, when in reality, it's called a playback stylus, and the stylus is attached to the cartridge. So what we're looking at right here, this is called the head shell right here. So the head shell would be this whole piece that screws onto the tone arm of your turntable. Now inside the head shell, we have the cartridge is bolted to the head shell. And on this particular cartridge, the stylus is permanently mounted onto the cartridge. Now, this is a Denon DL110 cartridge. This is the primary cartridge we use around Well-Made Music. It's a high output moving coil cartridge, which means it's fairly flat and fairly revealing, and it's really good for our critical listening experiences here at Well-Made Music. Now, this kind of cartridge may run over $200, so there's a lot of people that are looking for a cartridge maybe that's a little bit more affordable. So I'm going to give you an outline of some of the basic cartridge types and stylus shapes to give you kind of an indication of what might be best for your particular application. Now, there's three different shapes of stylus tips. So on the end of this stylus here, the cantilever of the stylus is a tip that's usually made out of a diamond, and it can either be a full piece of diamond put through an aluminum cantilever, or it can be actually what's called bonded to the cantilever itself. So if you see what's called a nude stylus, that means it's just one piece of diamond that goes through the aluminum cantilever. If it's bonded, that means it's a diamond tip that's actually glued to a small piece of aluminum shank. And a bonded stylus is typically going to be a more affordable stylus, and it has a little bit different sound. People think that a nude stylus has perhaps a better frequency response, especially on the high end, because it's not a piece of metal that the diamond is glued to. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the shapes of the different styli. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of a model. Now, this is a model that represents the grooves of a record. And somebody was nice enough to give this to me a few years back. And you can see a couple things. You can see the back and forth squiggle, what we call lateral excursion. You can also see the groove getting narrower and wider, and that's the vertical information or the stereo information on a record. So there's three basic stylus shapes, and they all kind of do a little bit of a different thing. Most of the time, the most affordable stylus or cartridges have what's called an elliptical stylus on it. And as you can see from this model right here, it's a rounded tip, and that tip goes down in the groove, and you can see that it contacts the groove pretty high up in the groove. So if somebody's played a record for many years with a spherical stylus, you make it wear up here in the top of the groove. Now, spherical styluses are really good if you're a DJ that has to back cue or scratch records, because they don't go so deep down in the groove that it allows you to kind of do that back cue or the scratching without the needle or the stylus, jumping when you do the back cue. So spherical styli, often very affordable and found on a lot of DJ cartridges like the Ortophone cartridges made specifically for DJing. The next type of stylus tip is called elliptical, and you can see it's still rounded, but it has like these flatter surfaces on it. So what that allows it to do is it allows it to sit farther down in the groove and make contact with the groove at different points than the spherical styli. And so if you have a record that was played with spherical styli and is maybe worn at the top, an elliptical will get you farther down in the groove and can often reveal audio information that you didn't hear or has been damaged by an old spherical styli. So an elliptical would be the first upgrade for somebody looking for a little bit better sound out of their equipment. Typically, it's a matter of tens of dollars, and a lot of cartridges have removable styli, so you can actually buy an upgrade, use it for special records, and if you have a more beat up record, you can put a more affordable stylus on your playback system. Now, if you're really getting into hi-fi, you start getting into, you'll hear words like fine line contact, line contact, or Shibata style, and those are all variations on the elliptical stylus. You can see this one really looks more like the cutting stylus of the VMS 70 mastering lathes that we use here at Well Made Music. And the whole point of these is to get even farther down into that groove and to extract as much information out of the grooves as possible. They also have a bigger point of contact along the groove, so you are pulling as much information out of that groove as possible. Now, Shibata, fine line, and line contact styli are usually the most expensive styli out there. They offer the best performance for audiophiles, but you just for a stylus alone, sometimes you're paying $200 to $300 just for those specialty styli. So when you're out there shopping for a turntable, the turntable itself is always a very important consideration, but when you're really looking to spend money to upgrade the sound of your system, a lot of times a stylus upgrade is the most economical, and you will see the largest dollar for dollar improvement in the sound by switching out your styli. Thanks for sitting here with me today and talking about styli. It's an interesting topic for me, and I hope it sparked a little curiosity in you as well.